Good evening and welcome back to Follow We Will Legends podcast, featuring the greatest ever Rangers legends as our special guests. It's Thursday evening with myself, Lynsey, Glen and Stan Gordon. Please stay tuned and get your questions in early and share our podcast around social media platforms to support us. As always, it's always right we thank our amazing sponsors who are on board with the podcast. Please check out their social media pages and websites for information on supporting like-minded people's businesses first and foremost. We have Milncroft Construction, Athol Solutions, Avia Signs, Gallant Pioneer in Blackpool, the Bluebell Bar Tenerife, Tate Transport Solutions, DGG Freight Logistics, EK Blinds and Shutters, Ayrshire Tree Surgeons, Mac Network Services, Big Tams Ices, the Gartcraig Inn, Ernock Builders, Clearwater, Impact Signs, Cube Glass and Nith Valley Home Improvements. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and share and subscribe to our show, or on any other social media platform. Remember to like, comment and please share. Joining us tonight, we have one of Rangers' greats, Jonatan Johansson, and also guest sponsor of the show. Please welcome owner of Impact Signs, Mr. Glen Houston. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Fine.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you on the show, lads. Jonatan, first time being on.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed the night. But good to see you both on. You signed for Rangers in 1997, around about 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
How did your transfer come about for Finland?
It was a long story, actually, because the Finland manager at the time was Richard Möller-Nielsen, and his son Tommy was one of the coaches at Ibrox. So they actually had a look at me just before the summer and the transfer deadline to come over, but it didn't really work that well. Then they come and watch a few internationals, and they liked Antti Niemi. They were going to buy him, and they asked me to come for a trial, actually. So it was quite a big jump from me from Tallinn, where I was playing.
Come to Ibrox.
Come to Ibrox in the dressing room with all the stars that were there then. So, but I was watching a few games. We were in a preseason friendly in Cyprus, and I knew they was interested at that time. And I was watching the 1-0 game at Parkhead in 1997, and see all the stars and that, and you think I could be there in a couple of months' time. It's unbelievable for me. It was such a big jump.
What size of crowd did you have in your home team then?
Well, 1,000.
Was it?
Oh,
What
wow.
a difference then,
Yeah, massive difference. And the first team you're training, you see obviously the Swedish stars was there, Jonas Stan and Jocke Berglund. We're watching the Swedish national team and the Gassas and the Laudrups and the McCoys and everybody. Oh. First time you go in sort of a box, a rondo, what do you call it these days, and you just think, I hope I don't F up this. But I loved it. It was unbelievable.
You were telling me, Glen, thanks for coming on again, Glen, and supporting me. But you were telling us that you were working at the club at the time. And
I had a great job of coming in after the games, and whoever the man of the match was, I used to get them and take them up the stairs to get their awards off the NTL box, or whoever was the sponsor at the time. So it's some great stories to tell. Get into the dressing room after a game.
Who was the manager at that time?
Walter Smith.
So,
and obviously he left after that first season, and then Advocat came on.
Yeah.
So
a couple of years.
It was usually Archie was interesting party.
Archie was almost my neighbour up in Houston at the time. So I loved Archie. But
I spoke to him last week. I seen him it was at the Box and Bun Supper.
Yep.
And I went there to talk to him. He doesn't change, didn't he?
No. I bump into him sometimes as well. He's a great guy.
Yeah, great. He is. I've had him on the show before, I know.
Oh,
but what about your business now? How he's doing?
Very good. Love a good storm. 3 weeks of wind and rain. All the signs are going to get put back up. So.
Oh, God, aye. They would all...
Good. It's good fun with all the signs at the training ground.
I know, so that.
Yeah, I was fixed them for the B team this week. So. That's good. Business is going well because we've got some big events happening in Glasgow and Edinburgh in the next couple of weeks. We've got the World Athletics competition coming up in Glasgow in March. We're doing a lot of work for that. Sepco's opening up tomorrow night.
All right.
In the senior centre. We've branded the whole senior centre with the World Athletics.
Brilliant.
And then the Six Nations starts with the rugby. So we've got the Scotland and France next week, and then England-Scotland game. So
fantastic.
I never tell you, he's got a good surprise for me.
Oh, has he?
You?
Yep. Not meant to tell him.
You're not meant to tell him if it's a surprise. When will we find out?
You've seen you come into the pub the next time.
Right, okay.
You'll be it'll be good.
It's a bit special.
That's good. I'll see it then in a couple of weeks. Well,
Yeah.
Aye. Right. Okay.
Well, he's meant to be drama.
Jonathan, you had some big names at the club, right? When you were there, obviously you had like Marco Negri, Gattuso, to name a few. Dick Advocat was your manager. What players at that time did you look up to?
Was loads of, I mean, Ali, of course, when I came, there was still Ali McCoy, so Walter Smith. So he was one that you've been watching for years, scoring goals. We got the old firm games on TV in Finland, not so much the other games. But obviously the Swedes, I said, Jonatan was a big fan of my Brian Laudrup being Danish. It was massive for me, and Gassa, of course, you can't overlook him. But then I've been watching a lot of Juventus. My brothers are massive Juventus fans, and Sergio Perini obviously won the Champions League with Juventus a few years before. Andy Kanchelskis, I grew up a Man United fan, so he's such a nice guy. And you look back and they were all superstars, obviously all the Dutch.
And you had the goalie there.
The goalie, the goalie was crazy. But what a legend he was.
But did they make you feel welcome because you were only a young boy at the time, or not? Weren't you?
Great, the Scottish, because I came over as single, so. I socialized a lot with the Scottish people, and they helped me get settled in Houston. And Derry McInnes was one of my neighbours, and Durante invited me for my first Christmas in Scotland. So
that would have been nice.
It would be nice.
Well, I don't know so much. I don't know we get at
Angela was nice. No, it was good. It was, and as I said, I came from a trial and sort of failed my medical first. Right. So I was on a trial for the longest trial ever. I think it was a month. But Walter, kept believing, saying it would be fine, and all the boys were great. So,
was there anybody though that stood out that if you had any trouble or anything, you would go and speak to them personally? Or
I think
like
Jonas,
a best.
Jonas and Antiniemi, obviously being Finnish and Swedish, they helped me a lot, and in the beginning, but all Durante was great. All the Scottish guys, Juki was great. They were all very approachable. Even Archie.
When you go that far.
Glen, we mentioned Marco Negri there, right? He could have been obviously a Rangers sensation. What do you think went wrong there?
Played too much squash. No, I don't know. Marco Negri was. The day my son was born, we beat Dundee United 5-0. I missed the game that day. My son was born, Jordan. And that day, and he scored 5 goals. And I think he went on to score 7 against somebody else.
It was unbelievable. Like he scored 30 goals before Christmas.
Before Christmas, yeah.
He was a great striker. We could do with him just now. That kind of goal scorer. I remember one of the goals, he took it by 2 men and chipped it for the edge of the box. You remember that goal?
And he didn't smile. He
just walked back and went, oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah, we were talking about Archie there, right? I remember Archie telling me that Dundee United game, when he scored the 5 goals, I think he had scored the hat-trick before half-time, if I remember right. And Archie came in, and Archie was saying to him, Marco, why running into the channels? Why not looking to gather the ball and go wide and come into the channels and look for the ball? He goes, Archie, do you watch me play football in Italy? He goes, aye, I don't do that. He just scored goals, didn't he? But a hell of a nice guy.
Such a nice guy, and I've obviously been involved with him with the sort of legend games we play sometimes as well. He's still such a nice guy. Loves Rangers, loved Glasgow. It was just the perfect storm for him, with the eye injury, and then he kept away, and the team wasn't doing too well when he came back, and it wasn't the same, and it's a shame.
Because he came back to the Thornton Suite. He came back recently.
Yeah. Oh, he's a lovely guy, by the way. Really is. And I know a lot of Rangers fans kind of went in the huff a wee bit because he'd scored that amount of goals and then he never done nothing after Christmas. But if you met the guy, as you say, you genuinely see how passionate he is about the club. He loves
Just a natural goal scorer. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
I met him in Benidorm that year I was there, and he's crazy. He is actually crazy. Like,
I don't know if did you see all the things he done
during lockdown?
Aye,
all these videos he posts, and made me laugh.
He was out a snorkel on, and then he was out.
He was on his balcony.
Absolutely brilliant.
He had a Rangers flag in his room.
No, a hell of a nice guy. But I often wonder what would have happened if he would have persevered with him, and but would have won the league that season. That's a certainty.
It's such a shame that what happened. We fought a better team, but you can't say that because obviously we lost it in the end. It was Walter's last season as well, so
It was
it's a big disappointment.
I think Celtic got a result at Kilmarnock or something like that, and that was it. They lost the league there, didn't we? I think they beat Kilmarnock 2-0 or something like that, And we kind of we went up there at Christmas, and then we just didn't.
Was it that the season Gaza gets sold at Christmas?
Yeah. After Christmas.
Well, I think Walter announced that he was leaving, didn't he?
That was a big thing as well. We fell out of Europe, I think, against the IFK Gothenburg, and then he announced that he wasn't going to re-sign, and I think created a little bit maybe of
and a lot of the guys said it's time for us to go then.
It was a mixed dressing room because we had the Scottish players been there for many years, and we brought in a lot of new players as well. So.
And then I think Advocat changed everything after that, didn't he?
He had his own discipline, I guess. What you would call now normal professionalism, but
it was different for everybody. I think when he came, especially the Scottish players and all that kind of stuff. Do you know? Lindsey?
He was totally different from Walter, that's for sure.
He had these certain rules that you had to follow. He was very, very much a disciplinarian. But if you follow that within that, he was very fair to me. I really liked him as a coach.
And he's another guy that if you speak to him, if he comes back to Scotland or you meet him anywhere, he'll tell you that he loved the Rangers and he's still passionate for the club.
He's still working. He's taking over Curacao national coach.
Oh, is he?
Down the Caribbean.
Oh, did he?
It's a Dutch island.
Yeah.
He's taking Curacao as his national. Just started about 3 weeks ago.
All right, okay.
And he gave us some players.
He did.
Didn't he?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Ronald de Boer. Unbelievable. I mean, we're talking about Rangers now, and obviously we're getting up again, but I don't think we'll see guys like that at the club. Yeah. We'll not get the money to bring these type of guys in anymore. It was great to watch.
But if you think about it, we were bringing in players. It was, the Russian national team, the Dutch national team, the Italian national team. What would they cost today? The English national team. You can't compare the times if you like. In that way.
But there was always a mixture of Scottish guys in there as well.
Of course, yeah.
There was a mixture of young guys getting through, like Barry.
Barry was great. He was.
Well, the one we've seen now is the young boy McCausland, isn't he? He's kind of seemed to have pinned down a place there, which I'm quite happy that Clemont's quite happy that if they're young enough and they're performing, he'll keep them in the team.
Yeah, I think so. I think the manager is very much keen to give
them a shot. Yeah,
give a shot if they're good enough, and then it's up to the players to take it. And
Ross has done great. He's quite direct.
Yeah, very direct. Great professional, great kid as well. So.
And I think he's got a good head and his shoulders. The way I'm talking,
It's a great opportunity for him.
No, definitely. I think he'll put in a place down in the team. And that you're talking today that I think the boy Cortez is coming. I think he plays in the right wing, so it gives him a wee bit of competition.
You always need competition.
And
it's a long season, a lot of games, and young players are going to have dips in forms. And the good thing about being a striker, you usually get a chance in the game if you're on the bench. You usually get 70 minutes or that. Yeah, so it's not the same as being a goalkeeper.
No, well, that's true. No, well, he seems to give McCrory a wee shot if it's cup games and stuff like that, doesn't he?
He made a good save, actually. A very good save in the cup game.
I was surprised they gave him a chance in the Scottish Cup. It's usually the League Cup they do that with, not usually the Scottish Cup.
Aye. Well, I think you maybe see him in the United game. He'll maybe play again.
Robbie's a great goalkeeper. And I took him to loan when I was the Greenock Mortar manager.
Did you?
And he did fantastic for me. He saved my job a lot of times.
Well, we can't no mention. You moved over to Scotland and you still stayed here and you married a Scottish girl.
I did. Port Glasgow girl as well.
Port Glasgow.
Was she? Yeah. That's great. And did you never think of moving back home? Or?
Not really. I mean, I still go back a lot, and I was over managing a team in Finland for 2 years, recently. So we have close contact with Finland, but I think Scotland or UK was always our choice. When we had my son was born 13 years ago now, so we wanted to move back to Scotland and bought a house down on the west coast. So
brilliant,
great.
Oh, that's brilliant. You gave me the hard words to say. Pedro Caixinha, was you? It didn't go very well for him, as we know, at the club. What do you think was wrong?
I think first Pedro gave me the chance to come back as a coach, which was fantastic for me. So I'll always be grateful. And I think he had a great structure in training, great organization. I think it comes down to, if you want me to pick one thing, I think it's always recruitment that comes back to it. After that first sort of 3-4 months that we were in the end of that season, he wanted to renew the team and brought in players that maybe didn't fit, and they weren't maybe better than the ones that left, and that probably was his downfall in the end. I liked him as a character, and he was good to work for. But of course, as well, the second part is Celtic was way in front of us at that time, so we're always going to be measured against Celtic, against winning against them, and we were too far off. So you're always going to be judged against that. And he didn't manage with his signings. Let's be honest. So.
Did you learn a lot off him?
I did, because I was the Finnish national team, and I was quite comfortable in my role there. But then I had the chance. It came out of the blue a little bit. I went for an interview, and I got the job, and I was quite inexperienced as a coach, and to see how he did things behind the scenes and everything that goes on, and it was a fantastic time for me.
The one that sticks in my mind was at the European game. Was it
Niederkorn? That was probably the beginning of the end, although it's in the start. And looking back, we should be beating Niederkorn, especially with 1-0 up from the first leg at Ibrox. But that was a disappointing evening, and it was a difficult home trip. I tell you that.
What's he doing now?
He's in Brazil. He's doing quite well with the Red Bull team in Brazil. Yeah. So he's been in lots of different places, but
Are you still keeping in touch with him?
We text sometimes more about players if I know a player or something like that. We keep in touch, which is nice.
Oh, definitely.
It's a good thing that was it yourself that recommended Morelos.
He was. Yeah.
How did that come about?
We were looking at different young strikers, and he was giving me like homework to scout and have a look at players that he gave me. Because I had been the Finland assistant manager, I was looking at a lot of Finnish games the year before, and he was the best striker in the Finnish league. I knew his agent, so I knew he had a clause in his contract to get away with a certain amount of money, which wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things. So I recommended him to Pedro, and Pedro liked him and took it forward to Stuart Robertson, and went off from there. Negotiation was pretty easy. And
when he came into the club, he was a sensation, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fans really took to him.
I think he downed tools at the end there, which I was disappointed with. But what we got off him, especially in Europe, geez,
I reckon we would have won the European trophy if he hadn't got injured in the semi-final.
Yeah,
if I had him in Spain for the final in Seville, we would have won that game.
Well, we played that game without a striker, didn't we?
I think what he came in, obviously he didn't know the language, and he wasn't maybe used to the fitness regimes at top level football and at Rangers. But I think especially Gerard and his coaching team got the best out of him. He looked fit and lean, and looking back financially, when do you sell a player like that when he's on fire? But we needed him for the team, and I think it was great to see that he did well for me personally as well. Some of the goals in Europe was excellent. Some
amazing.
of the performances was
fine away for him. Sticks out. He scored the 2 goals with the head. He ran him out in Europe, and you can understand how a lot of big teams were wanting to get him.
He was winning balls that he shouldn't have won. Right? Up front himself. And
he was
so strong.
Surprisingly strong. I was going to say that, and he was quite quick as well. Not you couldn't see he was quick, but he was quite quick feet and good strike with both left and right.
And you're right. I didn't want to see Rangers selling him when he was in top form, but at the end up there, I think Van Bronckhorst, because Van Bronckhorst, well, he was not just him, but that was part of his getting sacked. The cup game against Celtic, him and Ryan Kent just down tools, and he put faith in the two of them against Celtic, and the two of them never turned up, and Rangers lost that day. And then he was brave enough to drop the two of them when they played Celtic at Ibrox, and we played better, we won. And I just think the two of them, and Ryan Kent's body language just wasn't there at the end up either, wasn't it? No?
I'm not going to comment on whether they did that. I think with Alfredo, he was an emotional player. We can see it on the pitch. It could go either way with his emotions. So and it was the same outside the pitch, and sometimes he took that on the pitch. His emotions, and I think he loved Rangers. I think he loved playing for Rangers and scoring goals. So I would disagree with you with Downing Tools part, but he wasn't in his best shape, whether that was mentally or physically.
And in that game, I felt that the manager was looking for they to give a performance, and they didn't. But when you look at it, that was my two best players, and they didn't turn up that
but you've got to have the rest. It's a team, so they've got to have the support and the rest of the team as well.
But I think the frustrating thing there is, in particular with Ryan Kent, everybody knows he had bundles of skill, and when he doesn't turn up, you're this. And I know you're a winger yourself. I know wingers can have. I mean, Davy Cooper, Moody Blue. Sometimes when Davy wasn't in the mood, he wouldn't turn up in games. And I know he was one of the greatest wingers we ever seen. But it can be like that with wingers, can't it?
It can be like that with all players, and I think top players, professionals, they have that they don't drop beneath a certain level, and that's why they are world-class players. And I think with wingers and strikers, we do see more of a difference.
And I agree with you there with Morelos. I think if he was happy, you would see a happy player on the park. More, you know what I mean? You don't think so? When you could see him enjoying a game, but as you said, if he's no,
I think a lot of referees didn't give. They were out to get him. I thought a lot of referees were trying to make names in the back of him because he went into every tackle. He went, give you 100%, get into tackles.
He did, and I think he was hard done it quite a lot.
A lot of times he was booked and sent off, and it wasn't bookings.
Players and opponents, managers and players, we do a lot of analysing now, and you speak within the football community, so we know what players are like, maybe the character, and he was obviously one that opponents centre half knew that they could wind up. And he didn't help himself in certain games because of that, and that was part of his.
Especially against Aberdeen and Celtic, they just kept on off the ball stuff.
But I think that's what made him what he was,
I think so too.
He gave it back. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He got caught.
He did. I know. And some of the times unjustly.
I know it was.
You know what I mean? You say that shouldn't have happened there. You know what I mean? And you could see it. Some of the times you're at the match, you're saying, "Oh, please don't take the bait here," because you could see the centre half.
It was one of those things that when we did our research and we spoke to people that worked with him in Finland, I had loads of both teammates and coaches that worked with him, and they all said the same thing, that he has this side to him. So we were well aware of it. But then a lot of top players that played with have a kind of a dark side, if you want to call it that. So it could go either way.
I always remember Bobby Williamson was the Hibs manager, and he had a great team, and Rangers took 3 or 4 out of that team. I think it was Murray. Who was the 4 players for Hibs at the time we took? Whittaker
and
Murray, Neil Murray.
And the
midfielder.
Kevin Thompson.
There's one more. And they took the 4 players instead of taking Scott Brown. And Bobby had said to Walter, because Walter and Bobby were really good close friends, and he says, Scott Brown has got an arrogance. He says he's getting booked every week, sent off. He says, but you can't put that into a player. You can control it. You can't actually put that into a player. And Scott Brown turned out to be a good player. For them.
And I think we had the choice of them all, didn't we?
We did, with the choice of 5 of them.
Yeah. Aye, and we took the 2. We took the 2.
I think we took 2 instead of the 1. And
that's right. Aye. Don't get me wrong. I thought Whittaker wasn't a bad player.
He was a good player.
And Kevin Thompson was quite a fair player.
But Jonathan was saying it's that dark side of the arrogance kind of type thing. You can't. That's in them.
Yeah.
You control it. You can't add it to a player.
No, I agree with you.
We've got a couple of things on the screen, Stan, that I can see coming in. Wait, and I'll just have a wee look. So, Derek Phillips, he's put, great listen to Jonathan. I remember watching him. He was a great player. There you go.
Thank you.
Anybody's got any questions, you can put it in and we'll ask Jonathan for you. We've got Neil Coulter. Right, guys, do you think we will sign a striker tonight? We always knew this was coming, didn't we?
Well, we're going to talk about that at the end of the show anyway.
Well, I thought that.
Yeah. We'll
and I better just give a wee shout out here to my daughter as well, because she's just put, "Hi, Mum."
I hope that's somebody that's put that one talking to you in the watch free.
And Shaz and Jimmy read for Stranraer. Good evening from Stranraer. So we always get a wee
brilliant.
comment for Shaz and Jimmy.
Hibs away. How did you enjoy the game?
In terms of
Rangers 3-0 away. Hard game, potentially a hard game we had there.
Yeah, I think after the new manager came in, I think we look very effective. We don't lose many goals. We score goals. We look very together as a team. So that was a tricky tie, and I think we came game and we came through it flying colours. Because I thought as well, looking at that game, I thought it might be a very difficult afternoon.
I thought it was a bit honest.
It could have been more, actually. It could have been more.
Aye.
Did we not get one cut?
And Butland did a couple of good saves too.
Yeah, he had a really good save in the start of the second half. I think it was 2-0. They could have been 2-1 up. But he's been fantastic.
But it wouldn't have been. I don't think that would have reflected the game if it had been 2-1. What do you think yourself?
I thought they played really well. And I always think coming back after an international break or any kind of break, we always kind of struggle. And
that's the best start.
That's the best start ever
coming back
after
from
coming back from a break. Yeah. And to be fair, I thought we walked over the top of Hibs. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. But when we had the Christmas and New Year break there, after New Year, I was looking at the fixtures and I said, that's maybe the one.
Yeah.
That I know we've got 2 games to catch up with Celtic. It takes to 2 points again. This is the one that I was worried about that we could have slipped up. But I thought we played really, really well.
I thought it was St Mirren we were going to slip up.
Did you? I felt Hibs. It's always hard to be Hibs.
Yeah, it was.
What Jonathan is saying, but the manager seems to have a good team unit. And they're doing their jobs, what they're meant to be doing.
And they're working harder and they're more aggressive than the opponents, which is not always been the case away to Hibs. Hibs usually quite aggressive and working hard, but I think we outworked them. We were more aggressive. Obviously, better players as well. So.
And you can see that, in the team now. They actually must be training hard. And I mean, a few of them there in that winter shutdown, I've seen him saying there that he was going to, for some of them, that was a pre-season because he didn't have a pre-season.
Yep.
And you can see that. I mean, the guy, I said it on the show a couple of weeks ago, John Lundstrom, what a difference now that he's fit.
He looks so fit, doesn't he? And he's just like a completely different player.
And I remember talking to a couple of the backroom staff last season about Lundstrom because he didn't have a good season last season. But he was injured pre-season. You'll know better than us, but he was injured pre-season. And the guy just spoke to the backroom staff, says, see, if you don't have a pre-season, you're spending the rest of the season trying to catch up to be fit. And you could see that he wasn't fit on the park, but see, since you've gotten fit, he's flying again.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable this year. Yeah. One of the most important players in the team for me.
Do you think he's just enjoying playing for the manager? He's playing a different
that's
role.
a difference too.
I think so.
But he looks fit and odd, you know agree?
Forward.
Is anybody standing out for yourself? Like
we spoke about,
particular?
The goalkeeper has been a fantastic buy.
Everybody knows that the goalkeeper, he's doing amazing.
Yeah. You have to give it to the captain. I think with Tav, the amazing, goal scoring and assist record they have, and I love Ross McCausland getting a good run in the team and the way he's came into the team, and it looks like he really belongs there. So it's great. It's great for the academy, as well. So.
No, it's all, we said that earlier, it's always great to see somebody coming through. When you think back, I've not had a lot of players. Barry Ferguson's about the guy that sticks out in my mind that's come through the academy. Really, innit? There's a lot of guys went on to do good things out with Rangers, but I'm talking about guys just coming straight for the academy and sticking a place down.
Look, for the academy point of view, is obviously now they got a market of buying our players much younger. The English teams like to come and pick them up at 16-year-olds, which is it's difficult for us to sometimes keep them. If you look at Billy Gilmore, a fantastic player, and Nathan Patterson, and we get a good money for him. So I think there is good work being done in the academy. But,
definitely,
But they are taken away from us maybe before they make it in the first team.
And I can see that with the manager just now, that the managers, the 2 guys that were brought in just now on loan, we're potentially buying at the end of the season, which they said they will, are very young. So if they get him signed up in a 4 or 5 year contract, he says he doesn't want to go down the road again. That many players we got away at the end of this season that we're not going to get any money for.
But if the manager's here for 3 to 4 years, he's building a young team that's going to last him 3 and 4 years.
Yeah, but if they're moving them on, they're
It's
moving
also the
them on
reason-
that they're not going to be out of contract. We
Yep.
can't do that again.
No.
We've lost 2 minutes. Look, Brian Jack is at the end of his contract. Kemmer Roof's at the end of his contract. Lundstrom, the goalkeeper McLaughlin,
Roof.
and
Have we not-
Scott Wright.
Scott Wright and Roof, I think 2 of them are.
Aye. So where's we're going to get any money for
But-
any players? We're
We've
not.
got that Fabio as well, haven't we? Is he not
He's using loan.
into the summer?
Aye.
And then
But,
what'll happen with him either?
but the ones that are leaving were not making any money off it.
But,
And I think he's looking at that now, get young guys in that you can sign up in a long contract. And if they all want to go 2 years down the line into the they're young enough that you're going to make money.
I do think the chairman and chief executive did speak about that a while back, that they are looking at the transfer to recoup more money and to bring that into place. Because I think it's been a thing that we do want to sell play and make money off players as well, obviously.
Of course we do.
Definitely. And as you say, you're involved in the youth set up the new, and it must be good for them to see guys like McCausland and Bailey Rice and
It's so
and guys
important.
like that, and getting a turn, because then they say to themselves, I'm going to get a chance here. Some of the younger boys are here, they're getting it.
It's
again.
so important for everybody, when they're looking at are they going to resign and the talented ones, they can see it as a pathway to the first team. That we got a manager that believes in youth and will put them on, and so I think it is very much the key, and
So one of the things I like about the manager, he's willing to give the young ones a chance
Yeah.
and take folk off at half time, not waiting to 65 minutes in every game, where some managers won't make a change. He's willing to change it right away if he doesn't think it's working.
Yeah, and that's the way you should be a manager. If a manager sees something wrong, it doesn't matter what time of the game is. Change it. Yeah. And you can see that. I know I said this a couple of weeks ago. I love the fact that if he is making a substitution and the players coming off the park, he's got his arm around them and he's telling them, right, this is what happened. This is why I'm taking you off. This is why you, and he's explaining and giving him a cuddle and speak to him. And a lot of the times managers, they'll come off the park and you see them going away into the dugout and nobody speaks to them. It's as if they never get. But he seems to, do you know what I mean? And I like that. I think that's great.
I think players get used to it as well. If it does it on a consistent basis, players get used to it and accept it in a different way as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Shaz and Jimmy's put on here, I remember the hat trick that Jonathan scored against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. We do have it on our wee list to mention Aberdeen here, but how did that feel?
I felt great. I had been home in Finland before because of a personal matter, and I came back and I really, really wanted to show. And I think he's played Europe the next week. I think it was Bayern Munich, a big game anyway. So he rested Wallace, and he gave me the chance, and I thought, I have to take it. So it's always great to score. It's a great game there because it was end to end from the start, and then eventually they get a man sent off. They were 1-0 up, and so we turned it around, and then to score a hat trick over there was great. It's not the nicest place to go for a Rangers player. Or
Was that your only hat trick?
It was, yeah. For Rangers, it was the only hat trick. Yeah, that was great.
You played in quite a lot of European games, though.
I did.
You chose a lot.
It suited me in a way that the way I played. Sometimes, in Scotland, the team sits back and have a low defense, and it wasn't my game. I was more a transitional player and running behind and wanting the space. And I think Europe teams play that. They do come and attack Rangers as well, so they leave space in the behind. So probably my best games for Rangers I played in Europe. And I really enjoyed the European nights with the lights and the Champions League.
Some of the
songs and all that coming on. It's a little bit of a different vibe.
Brilliant. So, in the days we were used to playing the Champions League every year, and it's a novel.
It's one of my biggest. I don't have regret. Is the wrong word, but the Bayern Munich away game. I think we were a much better team. They got a penalty.
Did you not hit the woodwork 3 times?
We hit the woodwork. I had a good chance that I missed, and obviously Michael got injured in the beginning of the game, and a draw would have been enough to go through. And if you think about Valencia, went to the final from our group against Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich went to the semis that year. So it's that what if moment, because I thought we had a really good team that season. Yeah, a really good team.
The Bayern Munich was a bit of a sight. Like, even when we played them at Ibrox.
They scored in the last minute.
I've not heard them. And then to go over there and do what we done earlier, and Mikey go at that. And
Yeah.
see, if you remember that season, Mikey got that injury, and the keeper came out and hit him, but it didn't look bad on the park.
No, I didn't.
And if you remember,
It was in the touchline, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Aye.
right on the touchline. The keeper came
the
out.
Celtic centre forward.
I don't know.
No,
Henke.
he broke his leg that season. Larson.
Yeah.
And he broke his leg that season, and it was a horrendous break.
Yeah.
The bone came right out of his
That's
chest.
right.
Did you? Yeah.
But he came back after 3 or 4 months, and Mikey didn't come back. It was just,
It's
and you often, and don't get me wrong, when Mikey came back, he was a great player. But
Yeah.
I wonder how different he'd have been if he
It's-
didn't have that type of injury.
in those days, obviously, and the injury was cruciate ligament was a serious injury, which it still is, but obviously
They've learned
surgeons are better now and they're doing better. But it was such a shame because Mikey was on fire that
Oh,
season.
he was.
He was.
Oh,
We talked
unbelievable.
about Marco Negri, but he was on
Aye.
fire that season.
She's on his turning.
He had that, see that wee turn he
Turn-
had?
Ah.
turning.
And you know yourself, I've had him in Legends games,
Yeah,
and he does that wee turn, but he can't turn back. He turns that way, and then he doesn't go that way. Same as Mark Waters. I had Mark Waters on all the time. Mark Waters always used to do that step out of the ball. And see, when we did the Legends games, he steps out of the ball, and the defender goes that way, but he can't go forward anymore. He stops there, doesn't know what to do. But, what a season he had.
That's probably my favourite season. That team was a great team.
Yeah. I learned a lot from the strikers we had. Wallace was great as well, and Mikey. The way he turned was something else. I don't know, not many people remember, but you can check it on YouTube. I guess he was so quick at it, and he was so strong at turning. And his ball control was so good, and
it was brilliant. I seen him. Did you see my eyebrows the other week there?
no, I missed that. Yeah,
I went there to speak to somebody else at one of the tables. I went to see Sammy's table, and I went there to talk to him, and a guy grabbed me around the neck like that, and I looked around, it was Mikey.
Yeah.
So I gave him a cuddle on how you getting on, and he had the operation and that. And then the next day, I text him, and I says, "Why, great to see you yesterday. You were looking great." And he texts back, "I always look great when I'm standing next to you." And I went, "Oh, I see you keep all right now. You're feeling better now."
Alan McGilvery, he's put, "Good evening, folks. Nice to see you're not out dining, Stan. Oh, well." He's working for a change. Cracking podcast, as always. That was nice. Thank you very much. We also have Robert.
McAvoy.
What's Robert?
Oh,
Valentine.
Valentine.
What's he put? Something about VAR. What was VAR like in your homeland? Is it as bad as ours in Scotland?
The thing is, my homeland has obviously been here for a while.
I know.
We didn't have it in the Finnish league because it's quite an expensive tool. I think they're trying to bring it in now. It has to do with a lot of how you use it, obviously, and how much money you have to use it, how many cameras you have, and all the rest of it. But obviously, Scotland is in the
Honestly,
beginning.
This is such a subject.
I have to say, if you look back, VAR has been in many ways a very good thing. But it's how you use it, and that has to develop and has to get better.
I think it's worse than England. See some of the decisions done in England, and you look at the VAR and you're saying to yourself, how did they come up with that? Honestly.
What about Lawrence's goal last week?
Oh, they got chopped off. Yep.
Lines, well, it was in line.
But did you see the way they put the line?
I know. I
That
don't
was
know if that was
unbelievable.
just the angle of the way you're seeing it in a picture. There's got to be more. That's not an accurate.
You'd have heard it the other night. I thought it was brilliant. The guy was speaking, and he said, I went to one of the games. He said, and I got asked to get into the office where they did the VAR. He says, and the guy had all the equipment set up and that's where he said, it's only a wee room. He says, and Wally Collins sitting there, the referee. He said, and he's sitting looking at the screens, and he said, all right, well, he said, what happens here? He said, what's this, the green button and the red button? And he says, well, I press the green button when it's a penalty at Celtic. He says, what happens if you press the blue one? He says, I press the green one again.
Oh, God.
It is a cracking room. You see the size of it.
Is it?
Is it?
We branded it. It's something else. Some equipment in it.
Well, it's the
It's the guys that work the equipment.
equipment's faulty.
I know. I think they need some
But
training.
I think we can all agree it's never going to be 100% perfect. But it's how you're going to use
It's
it.
going to be as close as it can be.
Yeah, we've got one for Bill McAvoy there.
All right, Paul.
Hi guys, you're looking forward to Saturday's game. We'll get a striker tonight, and who do you fancy as a striker?
Well, how many hours are left? No, it's a difficult window. Let's say it that way. And strikers number 9s are very hard to get, for a price. So let's see.
I think I'm still waiting and I'm bringing Shackland.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm thinking it's going to happen.
Do you?
Yeah.
My gut feeling is he phoned in with a cold, a Scottish Cup tie. Never get yourself cup tied.
If Hearts not put in another thing for him for his contract,
He's not signed it. They gave him a deadline last night, and they never signed it.
I'll stay out of this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I think he's got to come in. I can't see how he's going to bring 2 wingers in when he knows that if Dessers gets a wee knock, we're toiling. So I think he's got to bring somebody in.
Well,
Definitely.
Get his bits back out.
You would be booing me on Saturday.
Did you see him playing in the last Legends game?
I'm just.
When was the last game? Was it Elgin the last time we played?
Probably
The Legends, wasn't it? Aye.
That was a good trip.
We left with my pub mind.
We left goal in Elgin, I think.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Aye, and he was cracking up with me and said, "You've left me." The intention to get back in the road, didn't he? And I says, "I know we left you, but they didn't need to stay there 5 days." He was still there for a week. He was still there the following weekend.
Tam Black's asking, "Hi, Jonathan. Any ideas on why Rangers have so many injuries? Interested to know if you see any changes in training, etc., from when you played to now that could be causing so many injuries to key players for us. Also, are our medical staff any good?"
They are very, very good. I think sometimes it just happens. It depends on the type of injury, but we spoke about pre-season and having that base, and that's very, very important for the rest of the season. But they have fantastic facilities, fantastic sports scientists, fantastic physiotherapists. They have the ice cold room, the cryo room or whatever it's called, and the players do go there all the time. So I'm sure the fitness regime is up to scratch. Sometimes you just you just get them, unfortunately.
Do you not think sometimes, I don't know, they're maybe too fit? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't know.
By a hamstring?
It doesn't always have to do with fitness. It can be you look at the league with the most money, with the most is obviously the Premier League, and there's loads of injury there in certain teams. With the Newcastle's and Arsenal's been complaining. So it does happen to everybody, and sometimes it's just
Newcastle's
just
a bad
complete
Newcastle's
nightmare.
been
Do you think it's just maybe just luck with us, isn't it?
Genetics.
Amount of games and traveling, it could be anything, and of course that's why you need a bigger squad as well, so the manager can pull some, because they do measure the values before training and that, and if somebody is high and looking at you can bring them out, and you don't take a risk on it but that's when you need a big squad as well. So.
Yeah, I just see. I mean, the players now are at peak fitness now.
Yeah, they are very.
And
good.
I think if you're at peak fitness and like that, your hamstring could go quicker than it would be. Do you know what I mean?
Depends if you warm up properly.
Well,
I don't know. Wouldn't you ask a sports coach that, Stan?
Yeah, well, they've got all that done to a T now. A warm done and all that. They never done that before.
I've been with the 18s now since the start of the year, and they are professional, the first professional years, and we are still trying to teach them how to live as professionals. But looking at the first team, and we do exactly the same things, and they do have every chance to become as fit as they can and stay away from injuries, and it's but it can happen still.
I feel that this day and age now that there are more players injured than they were a way back years ago. Maybe more games. I mean, look at the 70s with John Gregg, when John Gregg was a manager of Joe Wallace way back in the 70s. Rangers went through a season with 15 players. They didn't have a big squad because they didn't have a lot, but they didn't play as many games, right enough. You know what I mean? You did.
And there's Rangers about to play, was it 4 games in 11 days?
I know. Yeah. Well, you need a squad.
There is games more and more international. you do the double headers with the internationals, the pre-season tours get longer and longer, and so it is more stress on the players that play most of the games. Okay. But as you said, if you play every week in, week out, you get into a routine, your body gets used to it, so then it's less likely to maybe get injured as well. I think if you're coming back from an injury, or that's probably when you are most vulnerable to get on.
Do you think that the winter shutdown when we went away to Malaga for intense training, do you think that's helped?
I think it helps. Yeah.
Did you go over?
No. It's but the pleasing thing that he took a big squad and a lot of young players who was on the bench for the Copenhagen game when they came back. So it's great experience for that age group to go. I loved it when we did it. We went to Florida the time when I was playing, and it was a fantastic week just to bond and to train really hard and to play a couple of games as well. So.
And I don't think we've done that the last few years. We went and had intense training at the winter shutdown. I think maybe that's been the difference, because we come back the last few times here. I think it was a daily record. One of the papers had put on our last 3 or 4 times coming back for the winter shutdown. I don't think we won the first game. No, that's just the first time we won it.
Okay. I mean, I don't think any other teams went away in the Premier League. I don't think any other teams went away.
No, and we kept ticking out. We played Copenhagen. We played a couple of friendlies, which I thought was good to just keep your match. Everybody and irritated. He brought 11 players.
Yeah,
and he changed them for 11
players,
and all the boys got a wee.
Most of the other teams ended up in Dubai for a holiday. That's where most of them went.
Was it? No, I was quite happy with what he done it, and I don't think there's going to be a winter shutdown next year.
All right, okay.
I don't think it's happening next year.
But I think this period is very, very important, because now there's going to be, as we said, loads of games and loads of important games. The title race is wide open, so I think hopefully we'll get everybody back fit and strong from this trip.
St Mirren on Saturday, did you think they performed okay?
A bit shaky in the last 15 minutes. The second half we played well. I thought at 1-0 you're still thinking this could end up a draw. At 1-0 up, I thought.
I think they played well enough.
I didn't watch it. We were training at the same time at the training grounds.
We made a few chances, but saying that, Jack Butland did a couple of good saves too, didn't he? But I thought we made enough chances.
I thought we were better the second half than we were the first half.
Aye.
They made the 2 changes at half time. So the second half looked better.
What I think is important now, and what we've been doing really well, is that we win these games. The tight games, we might not be so free flowing. We might
sometimes you got to win ugly.
But you have to win it, and I think we've been really good. And we hardly lose goals, which is so so great, for the team.
I think Goldson had a wee bit an off game against St Mirren.
He has his first game back after the shutdown because he was suspended for the Hibs game.
That's right.
So he was a bit sloppy.
What's your best pairing? Suter and Goldson, or Goldson and Balogun?
I like Balogun.
Best pairing? Suter, Balogun.
Do you think so? Do you know? No.
I like Suter on the right hand side of the defence. I think going forward with the ball is better. Goldson. I
like Goldson right enough. I do. I just thought it was a bit sloppy against St Mirren.
I think we're quite lucky we've got 3 there that are good.
I think it's good that we have the discussion that we had 3 good centre halves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Yeah. And
with strikers we need.
We have. I think this is.
I keep looking up there to see somebody putting in, because we don't see anything on live sports. And I'm not saying that's us got a striker, but it's not come up yet.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, right, where are we stand? I'm lost.
Right, getting into Saturday.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on Saturday?
Olivia? I think we'll win.
We should win.
Would you want a result, or you want a?
No. I'm just thinking what we.
I think we'll. I think they always give us a hard game, but they do tend to sit back quite a lot. Livingston sit back.
I think they're going to a really hard time. I think they got a point last game, but I think at home.
Highlights.
All right, okay, but I think at home, it should be us. But no game is performed. But I have a feeling we have a very good weekend this weekend.
We've got Aberdeen as well, and coming up.
That's
the big physical team, but Livingston.
Yeah, I know.
I think they always.
About.
I just feel as if they sit back quite a lot against us in their formation.
I might as well go through the bit when we've got things coming up.
Aye.
I don't know if have you seen the new Rangers kilts yet?
No.
Have you seen them?
I've not seen it either.
I had a wee chat with a guy, Ian Ferguson, Rangers. Ian that does the
Yeah,
hospitality.
yeah.
Is getting the guy a horn. So he signed up with Rangers. My Jersey is involved in it. And it's a new Rangers. The old Rangers tartan's away now and they've got the new one.
All right.
Big Marvin wore the Rangers tartan at the Bungie supper.
Oh, did he?
Aye, and the manager had the new tartan tie.
Oh.
At it. So it's great. So I never got a chance the night, but I'll get a photo and I'll let you see it. So the boys looking for anybody that's got weddings coming up, engagements, so they're going to any Rangers gigs that want to hire any stuff. It's really
We need to
cool.
get his contact details and that then, or do you do it through Rangers? Or?
Oh, you can do it through Rangers, or I'll get it for the next show. But the
Perfect.
stuff's really spot
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And we have Jimmy Bell's dinner coming up the 15th of March. Are you going to be able to make that?
5th of March, that's first I've heard, but I will
Yeah, so-
definitely try to make it.
That's
Jimmy
a-
was
yes.
fantastic to me over the years.
We didn't even need to advertise it. It's in the new Edmondson house. There's
Okay.
27 tables of 10, and we didn't advertise it. It's sold out
Yeah,
all the regulars right away.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
the one
think-
I'm
I
not
think
allowed to
the-
go to.
No, and I think by now we've got about 18 to 20 ex-players. Alan McGregor, Davis, and Alan Hutton, and Coysty's coming along, and
Yeah.
all his
It'll be a
teammates
good night.
for the years, and which I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
is that the media's putting a video together with Jimmy's funny stories and
Okay.
things
That'll
that's
be
happened
good.
over the years with,
Aye, brilliant.
you know.
Great guy.
Be fantastic, emotional, but fantastic.
Aye,
yeah.
great guy. Lot
So
of
I'm
time.
looking forward to that coming up. And we're kind of trying to put together a wee script for some of the boys who's up for interviews to tell stories about them, which I'm looking forward to today, because a lot of them have got some right good stories with him.
He's a great guy. I've been had to deal with him because putting the names on the lockers and getting in and seeing him and asking him for things for other people.
Because our cave, we were all scared of him, obviously. But when you get behind that, he's got a hard
Oh,
approach.
brilliant. He would have a wee dig at you, and then he would
Of course,
and then he'd
of
see
course,
what you're looking
of
for,
course.
wouldn't he?
I'll give you a story, Bill. Kilmarnock were playing at Ibrox, and centre forward for Kilmarnock was a Spanish guy, came from Airdrie, I think. I can't remember his name, and forgot his football boots. And Bobby Williamson was the manager, and he was scared of Jimmy. He says, "Glen, you go on well with Jimmy. Going to ask him for a pair of size 9 boots for my centre forward." So I had to go along the wee corridor in his cupboard and say, "Jimmy, Kilmarnock centre forwards forgot his boots." He says, "Any chance you got a load of a pair of boots?" You can imagine what he said.
Oh,
And I
no.
says, "It's for Bobby Williamson." As soon as I said it was for the next Rangers player, that was it. Bobby
Aye.
Williamson, the other size. They beat us 2-0. The guy scored twice. I kept out his way for 3 weeks.
Oh, brilliant. So that's a good one coming up. And then I've got Graham Souness and our manager in the Armadillo on Sunday, the 3rd of March.
Okay.
I think that'll be a great night. I'm really looking forward to that. I was on with Souness, as you know, a few months ago, and it was good. But to our manager being with me, Clement being with me, I think it'll be good. It'll be good interviews. Jim White's doing that. It'll be fantastic. And I've got Sandy Rowe with Bomber and Gerante on the 16th of March, and then we're doing Lisbon on the 17th. So I know Bomber doesn't drink now, but I think me and Gerante will make up for that the Saturday
sure.
or Sunday.
I'm sure you will.
And I've got obviously one of our sponsors, the Gallant Pioneer. They've got Terry Butcher on the 23rd of March.
Okay.
So that'll be a good wee night. You're singing at that?
No.
No,
No.
I'm going.
Are you going, aye?
I am interviewing, so I'm looking forward to that. And then tomorrow night, as I said to you, I've got Wally Johnston and Colin Steen in my bar, and then they're going to the Grapes. So we've got a wee gig in there. What about yourself? You got, tell a lie. I've got Lynsey in the pub in a couple of weeks.
So you have. I was going to mention it.
Is it Saturday or Sunday? Because it keeps on changing.
Oh, honestly, he is, honest to God, demented me. I need to change it. I need to change it again. I need to change it. I'm sure it's the Sunday.
It is. It's a
So,
Sunday.
and he changes the time all the time as well. It's either 2 to 6 or 3 to 7. I don't know what one I'm doing. It's a different time every time we post on Facebook.
So what you got? On?
So I've got the John Stevenson Junior Rangers Supporters Club in Coatbridge in a couple of weeks. Not this
Right.
weekend, next weekend. And then I've got Three Cheers pub in Paisley Road West
All right.
on the 24th of February. And then I'm in Drumchapel on the week after that, on the
Brilliant.
2nd of March. Yes.
So you're quite busy also there.
I shouldn't be.
I thought it was keeping me going to
Oh.
we won in the pub. Well,
So-
finish off then. So we've got to finish tonight with transfers. Do you think we'll get somebody in the door? We can't ask you, can we?
No, but still, but
I say yes. I'm looking to say I'm hoping so.
Aye, I think we need a striker.
Just scared
Lynsey,
of
what do you think?
Well, definitely we need a striker. I just don't know if we're going to get
it's gonna
Shankland.
Mr. Shankland.
I don't know. It's been quiet.
Aye. But I think you spoke about a guy earlier on there, Gordon Jury, right? Dukey came into Rangers being a Rangers fan and a striker and Scots, and he made a big difference to us. And we've done that over the years, is bring a homegrown striker in that's scoring a lot of goals in our league. And I
Where did
think
they come from? Hibs?
Tottenham.
So we started at Hibs, did they not?
I did.
Started at Hibs and then went down south.
He went to Chelsea, then he went to Tottenham.
And then we got him.
And that didn't go doing too well for him.
Must be the only guy that scored a hat-trick in a Scottish Cup final, never got man of the match.
And then Durant keeps asking him how he never scored against Celtic either. But no, I'm hoping we do. We get out of the line with somebody.
Time will tell.
I know.
What's everyone's thoughts just before we finish up? Are we strong enough to win more trophies this season? What do you think?
I'm going for the treble.
The treble?
Not greedy. I'll go for the treble.
I'll take the league. If I can get that, it'd be great.
I think the league is going to be a
Tight.
fantastic run. It's going to be very tight, but I think we might just pip.
I heard a guy on the radio the night and I just actually laughed out loud. He said that Celtic are going to win the league by 15 points.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, no.
Honestly, the guys on the radio were even laughing at that.
No, never. No.
Can I say just here, you be plugging stuff, so come and watch the under 18s for the Youth Cup as well.
Oh,
We're in the
fab.
semi-final.
Semi-final.
Come and support the young ones, and hopefully we'll be at Hampden again.
What date's that?
I don't know. that will definitely be on the. We're playing Dundee United in semis. That will definitely be on the webpage.
There's one thing for sure. Stephen Smith will not tell us because his uncle Wally will say to him, me and Stan's going to come down and watch the game. Oh, we don't get tickets. And you don't get us 2 free passes. And no, I don't get any. Like, you're the manager. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
But no,
he's trying to tell you something. He's seen you at games.
Get along and watch the under 18s.
No, if you
There
let
we
us
go.
know the date, we'll be
Yes,
along.
yes.
Definitely.
I don't think it's set yet, 100%. So
Yeah.
it will be end of
Oh,
this
that's a
month.
big one for you, eh?
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, guys, thanks for joining us on Follow We Will Legends podcast. If you would like to sponsor a podcast or appear in one of our next shows, get in touch with myself or Stan. Also, remember to get involved by subscribing to our YouTube channel, liking our social media pages, Follow We Will Legends podcast. A huge thank you to our special guests tonight, Jonatan and Glen. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on
Thank
and
you.
giving us your time here for our viewers as well. So thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Good night and God bless.
Great.